Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Not Daddy Weekly Roundup. It is November 17th. Hope you guys are enjoying it. We're halfway through the month already. Can't believe this. It's like 7 more Sundays to Christmas. I saw someone the other day, so that's insane, but I can't believe it. It's going so fast. Let's jump into this week's books. So on this week, we got quite a few books to read. Got a handful digital. Got to have mostly raw copies. That's the way I like it, so that's awesome. But before we can talk all about that cool stuff, let's go into our sponsors. We got the guys over at 204 Comics. Check them out. They're awesome. Especially if you want to do a pull list, pre-order those books. FOCs later today. I'll make sure to post that up right away after the video. Make sure you guys get those in. Also, we got Primo's Wrestling. Again, we love working with the Primo's Wrestling group. They have an event coming up next Thursday, the Barroom Brawl. I think there's still a few tickets available, but probably not too many because this is a big show. Starts at 7 p.m. Pyramid Theater, November 23rd. Like I said, do check us out if you can. And if you're not able to see you in person, I will stream it live because, of course, I will be there as well. So if you are there, do come say hi. I always love talking with you guys. All right. While I'm there, I'll probably have a few copies of our exclusives kicking around for anybody's interested, especially the new Josie one. That one came in the mail just yesterday, so thanks to Danny Harrell for that. So if anybody wants one of these are $15 a piece. And I got a couple signed ones too from Danny as well too. So if anybody wants one of those, just reach out in the comments below. I will be putting up a post later today as well. So, all right, enough of that stuff. Let's jump into our books. Let's do our raw books first this week. So, first off, from Scout Comics, we have from Scout Comics we have Ghost on the Water. I was looking forward to this book just because it looked kind of neat in that it has it's about a fella who kind of leaves America and leaves Europe, and he heads over to these Pacific Oceans and ends up after a while integrating with one of the tribes there and becoming part of the tribe there. He has a couple boys. He gets older and dies, and then the boys become men themselves and that, but they're little ostracized a little bit because their dad was not part of the, not a native type of thing. And at the same time too, he has this, if you can see in the corner or in the picture, he has this knife from his dad, which is a cursed knife. The father-in-law gave that to the dad because it is a curse, for marrying his daughter and that. And eventually everyone did accept him into the tribe and that, but that curse was always still there. And because of this curse, bad things happen. If this knife gets too close to the sea, to the water, it triggers this big storm, like a storm demon. One day the son takes off, goes missing. He ventures out on the land or off the island to sail, to explore. He wants to do new stuff in that. And then time passes, and eventually just the remnants from his ship and the knife itself washed back up on shore, and his brother finds it and then vows to find him. But really nice artwork in here, a lot of neat Pacific Island culture and tribalism in that going on in there. So I would say definitely check it out. Like I said, it is pretty cool. Has that little bit of that supernatural cursed weapon to it. This is the monster that kind of shows up whenever the thing gets closer to water and that. So really neat. I quite liked it. It's pretty cool too because, like I said, it does take place in somewhat of a modern setting, but at the same time too, these people also have their cultures that they rely on. So that is Ghosts on the Water from Scout Comics. This is probably we'll see if I hit any more in the pile here, but this is probably my pick of the week. I thought this was a great read so far. This is from Image Studios. This is The Deviant. written by James Tinney IV. So again, right off the bat, that's one of my favorite writers here. And if you get a little close up here on the cover, you can kind of see that's a weird looking Santa creature. And that's what this story is about. It's about nowadays a writer, a comic book writer, which I'm pretty sure is just a pseudonym for James Tinney himself. He wants to write this. He's kind of disenfranchised with the way comics are nowadays, and he wants to write this story comic about this killer that was happened. I think it's 50 years ago, probably in the 70s. To see the date in here, the 70s, and it was this guy that killed everybody and killed his family and that, and killed a bunch of people and went to jail for it. And then 50 years later, he still says he's innocent in that, but everyone in this town believes it's him. So he's gonna go write this like documentary or this news piece on him. And he talks to the fellow in jail and everything. And the guy's a real scumbag. He never said he was a nice guy, but he said he never murdered the person. These kids. And then at the same time, too, it kind of seems like this this monster creature is showing up again here, too, even while the guy's in jail. So obviously, this guy didn't do it. Whether this creature is like a supernatural creature or it's just a regular serial killer, just kind of making a comeback type of thing, I'm not too sure. But again, he does it all in this kind of Santa theme. So very, very twisted in that, but a great horror story for Halloween. And I don't have it, but there's a cool cover where it's this, and there's a die cut cover over top of it that makes it like into a snow globe, which is pretty cool too. So that's neat too. All right, this week, or this month, I should say, is the start of G.I. Joe over at Image Skybound now. Like we've been following it a little bit with the Energon universe in the Transformers stuff, and now this is the G.I. Joe stuff kicking off. So this is issue 301 here, but this itself is not part of the Energon universe. So G.I. Joe and that will be in the Energon universe, but this is G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, which would be something totally separate. And this is continuing on the book that originally started way back at Marvel, and then it was at IDW for all those for a few years up to issue 300. And now it's going to be picking up again here at issue 301. And again, all written by Larry Hama, so that's pretty awesome there. So again, great artwork in here too. So it's just kind of, it does a little bit of a recap for some people who may be new to it, and then it kicks into some G.I. Joe stories as well too. And again, you don't have to be a G.I. Joe fan to know this, to enjoy this so far. They do have background information in here, but it's just a great story in that. But it gets a good jumping off point. So what's neat in here is it seems like Serpentor has going to detonate this bomb that's going to turn everybody into like a cannibalistic killer type thing. So yeah, and it actually does go off in that. So some things do happen in here that I wasn't expecting, like some kind of changes to these characters and that. But again, if you're a G.I. Joe fan, or if you're thinking of getting into G.I. Joe, do check it out. This is going to be a great series. And again, from Larry Hama, and again, over at Image Skybound. And kind of bookend this a little bit, this is actually issue 1 from that series from Marvel many, many years ago. Probably I think it was 1985, 84, 83. And it was, but this is kind of like a director's cut of it. So apparently when Marvel editorial at the last second, without telling Larry Hama, changed some of the dialogue and a little bit of some of the coloring in the original G.I. Joe book. And that always bothered him. So when Image bought the rights to them all, they let him know that he could fix it. So there is some dialogue that's changed from the original in here, a little bit of coloring that's a little bit different, but at the same time, everything else is the same. So again, if you've never read G.I. Joe before, this is a perfect way to get introduced to it, because this is the first issue that does kind of introduce everything to it all. So, but yeah, it's not that really complicated history. It's just the government puts together a super elite team of soldiers, and that's what G.I. Joe is. All right, let's see here. Everything's totally random today, so we're not going in any particular order. From DC, we have a new series of Outsiders. This time it has nothing to do with Batman, it's just the Outsiders. And this is a neat one here, too. You have um, Lucius Fox and Batwoman and this other person here who they believe they call Drummer, all kind of teaming up and starting to form this team to deal with problems in the world too. But again, that has nothing to do with Batman and nothing to do with that stuff there. So, and again, not hampered by that stuff. So, great artwork in here. I really did like it. So that's pretty cool in that there too. And I do like some of the characters too. Like again, you got this new person here, Drummer, who is seems to be able to talk to machines and to communicate with the future a little bit. It's really quite neat. They do deal with a lot of technology stuff because again, that's what Lucius Fox is, or Luke Fox, right? He's a tech guy. He's almost like a Black Iron Man type of thing. So he's using his money to to found this team, and they're gonna do kind of do things that they want to do that they feel is important. First issue was good so far. I quite enjoyed it. I think a lot of it will be to see this development of this new character here. She is connected to the planetary, so we'll see. Kind of neat. Outsiders. This again part of that Dawn of DC stuff. From IDW, we have the Ministry of Compliance. And it says a bloody sci-fi epic. This is a pretty neat book, a little bit thicker, so it costs a little bit more. It's got some pretty nice artwork in it, very realistic, very, very tight, clean lines, solid colors in that. But it's a little bit of this and it's a little bit of that. It's about these agencies that all kind of oversee things on the world, and they're all called ministries. There's Ministry of Compliance, Ministries of Finance, and all these things like that. So when you start off reading the story, you think, oh, these are government agencies, and then you find out right away that these are not government agencies. They're kind of like secret societies, all run by groups of aliens. Actually, these are aliens that are on Earth, getting ready to kind of take over Earth type of thing, and they've been here for years, kind of like sleeper agents, integrating and just mingling and trying to work their way in type of thought. So what's happening now is after all these years, they're starting to notice that a lot of the people who are in these ministries are kind of being like corrupt a little bit. They're much like how happens in the real world. These people of power end up becoming a little bit more corrupt, a little bit more taking advantage of and taking way too much enjoyment in the Earth's kind of vices and that. So there's a recall of the higher up government, and now everyone's kind of going into damage control of that. So neat story here, has a little bit of that Matrix feeling here, where there's a reality within a reality, and these people are all kind of work in like I said, ministries, almost like families, clans, and that. So neat stuff here. Like I said, very sci-fi-like at the same time too. Very Highlander-like as well. I guess, and you got multiple actions trying to stay alive and to have integrate within each other, and that kind of almost like mafia style. But at the same time too, almost a little, like I said, little ninja or Kusa style as well too. So neat book here. A little bit of a complicated book, so you can't really just give it an accurate description like that. But I do think it's worth checking out. I think this might have some ground under it to grow. So, The Ministry of Compliance by IDW. From Boom Studios, we have, much like they did with the Round V book Rare Flavors, they've put out a preview copy or an ash can, but more than just a couple of pages. It is still quite small, but it does cover quite a bit of story in here. And I will cover the full issue when it comes out in a couple of weeks. So this is from Tom King, so yeah, pretty prestigious writer there. And he's doing Animal Pound. And this book is about the pound. You got some cats and dogs in a pound, very, very sad setting, of course. And it seems like there's a few of them that are, even over a longer period of time, are going to try and stage a break. Rescue some of the dogs and some cats are going to maybe get put down. So again, we've seen a lot of books like this lately where you have cats and dogs and animals living as real societies and that people just can't understand. So a neat book here. Very, very sad. Like I said, very, very sad and somber. So again, you can tell it's a Tom King story. But again, I enjoyed it so far. I'm thinking and I'm hoping that the final copy, when it does come in, will be in color, not in black and white. But there is some great artwork in here as well. All right, we got a few more to go, and then we'll jump into what I read digitally. From Scout Comics, we have the Lipstick Click. Been looking forward to this one for a while. This is actually a spin-off of, or comes out of the Cadillac Vampires. Is that what it's called? Cadillac Vampires? I think so. Cadillac Vampires series that they had earlier. Again, which is all kind of a vampire universe where vampires live amongst humans. And there's lots of them. So this is kind of a spin-off. We got these two girls here. They call themselves, or sorry, three girls that are vampires. They call themselves the Lipstick Click. And they've decided to start slinging their own drugs instead of working for all the higher up people. And drugs in this scenario is blood for vampires and that. So they have found their own sources of doing it. And now they're going to start doing that. So it kind of, again, has this vampire theme mixed in with like a drug dealer movie type of thing. So pretty neat so far. Again, lots of great artwork in here. I quite liked it. No, this center, or is it the center page? But this page here into about one of the vampire chicks getting messed up a little bit. And again, too, it all has that that kind of gang and that mafia feel to it. These female vampires here kind of have like that Mexican gang feel to it and all that. So I like this one a lot. And the neat thing about this, even though this book has been talked about for a long time already, it's been optioned in that. And it was optioned way back in summer. So even months before it came out, this book was optioned. So that's pretty cool there. So I was a little hesitant if it was going to be good or not. But so far it's good. Another one from Scout Comics. This is from their non-stop line, which I've said in the past is the first issue gets released in single comic format, and then the whole rest of the story is released in a trade paperback. So whether it's 4, 5, 6 issues, it all gets released. The rest of it all gets released just in that collected format, and not in the singles. So this is a neat book. It's called Katen. It's about a young woman who has some cats and befriends some cats, and she ends up being killed when her fiance's store is robbed by a bunch of gangs looking for protection money. So instead of dying, the cat saves her from death by turning her into like this cat person. Her cat was actually kind of like this almost like a familiar type of thing. So with all these cats. So there's this cat people, and she's been turned into them, and now she's going to go back and get revenge on these gangsters that robbed their store. So and now she does have like these kind of tiger powers where she can turn into a cat. So kind of fun there. All kinds of neat stuff going on. Towards the end of the story here, she ends up resurrecting her dead husband, and then it's not a good thing what happens out of it. So this is I'm not even sure how this is going to continue on now, because the main character here does kind of get, I won't say killed in that, but something big does happen to her with that big creature at the end as well. So do check this out, because like I said, it has kind of a neat twist at the end there. So it's not what I thought it was going to be once I started reading it. And I might know if I can find it somewhere. I might check out the trade paperback when it comes out, just so I can see the rest of that story. So The last one I read physically this week is from Boom Studio, and it is called Lotus Land. Got some neat art on there as well too. Kind of like that. It is a story of a fella who's living out in the woods, kind of isolated a little bit, and obviously has a past. It's probably a checkered past, to say the least, in that. So he's out living in the woods of BC, and when a kind of a futuristic space bus pulls up. So this does take place in the future in Canada, and it's about a guy who I guess worked for an agency at one point, and now he's retired after doing a bunch of horrible jobs and that, and now they want him back. And they want him back because I guess the whole system that the world kind of runs on nowadays and helps all these people and that is threatened. Someone's going to take it down, type of thing. So now he is there to try and solve this mystery, and he looks like he has a little bit of psychic powers as well too. So it turns out, a lot of these people are either are affected by this machine, this kind of system that it almost like is like a generator for a bunch of people. So if this goes, not only society will go, but will end up killing a lot of people because I guess they're dependent on it, and that includes his son there too. So apparently his son has almost like enhancements from these machines that help survive people and that. So he's going to be out doing that. So kind of a neat story. He said if you like kind of future stuff like Blade Runner and that, this is pretty cool. Lotus Land, and like I said, it's neat for anybody who's in Canada because like I said, this does take place in BC. Okay, now let's jump on what we read digitally this week. All right, I read it quite a bit of digitally in that, but I just grabbed a few that were brand new number ones. But there were a few issue 2s and 3s that were also out there that were really great. So do check those out. The issues that I covered from the issues 2s and 3s were all books I covered number 1s of a month ago. So follow through on those. First one I had was Geiger Ground Zero. So this is a 2-issue miniseries, I believe, where it's kind of Ground Zero. Yeah, it's like a year 1 type of thing. So if anybody has been a fan of the Geiger series so far, this goes back to the actual moment that it happened, when the war started, and it sees how the glowing man actually gets turned into it and what happens to his family and everything. So this is kind of said like a Geiger at the beginning. So neat story so far, and a good story too if you never read the Geiger series ongoing. A great way to get introduced to it. Jeff Johns writes that, and he's a great writer. So. From DC, we have Speed Force. This is I don't know if it's a team or not per se, but it is some of the younger speedsters of the Flash and DC universe kind of working together. You got Kid Flash there, and then you got the Flash from Asia. I believe his name is Aaron, or her name is Aaron, I should say. And you got them working together, kind of dependently from Flash himself, because he's got so much stuff going on in his universe and stories and that going on. So almost like a now I think about it, almost like a Super Sons, but with the Flash characters instead of Batman or Robin and Superboy. So it was okay. A lot of the Flash stuff that's going on right now, I'm not a huge fan of, but this was okay. Again, another great jumping off point. From Marvel, we have issue 2 of the Spine Tingling Spider-Man. This cover here is super awesome. I thought that was amazing. The reason I'm covering this issue 2 is because when we covered issue 1 there around Halloween time, he said it was create a spooky story. How Spider-Man or how Peter has woken up and now he's not. He seems to be kind of like just a regular person and erased from life. Nobody knows who he was or who he is now. So he's kind of running around New York, seeing all this, and he ends up getting on a train, and all these crazy, horrific things start happening. These, this demon monster type train conductor shows up, and it's just haunting him down. all monsterific, right? So we pick up in the issue beginning of here. Like say he's running from this train conductor, and ends up coming across a little girl on the train. Ends up coming across Mary Jane and Aunt May. I think there's a third person too. I can't remember. And they're all being tortured, and he frees them in that. But everything again is all horrific here. So again, as soon as he turns his back, they kind of turn into monsters. And that. So again, don't really know what's going on here, except that what we've explained, that Peter Parker is stuck. We don't know where he is. He's woken up, and now he has no powers. No one has any memory of him in that. And there's this crazy monster after him, and everything seems to be kind of in like this dream world. So it could be real for all we know, but it's definitely not connected to anything going on currently in Spider-Man. It's just a separate story, but awesome. And then also we have the Superior Spider-Man starting back up. Superior Spider-Man was hard to believe about 10 years ago already, when Doc Ock had kind of killed off Peter Parker, or at least taken over his body, and was Peter Parker and Spider-Man for a little while. Now what's going on is everything's not like that now, obviously, and Doc Ock can't remember stuff going on from that time, and it's bothering him like crazy, because it's like slowly driving him crazy, and he wants to figure out what's going on, because he was a better person then, so he wants to know. He made some kind of weapon. He knows that it's the ultimate weapon, or the ultimate scientific device, and he can't figure it out. So he ends up going and tracking back to his lab where he was working at the time, and has some memories triggered, and ends up releasing this new supervillain called Supernova. She's like this big fire creature type of thing, almost like the Human Torch. And she has a hate on for Spider-Man, because that's who tracked her in there, even though it was Otto. So now she sets out, and she's flying through New York looking to kill Spider-Man at all costs, in that, even though he has no idea who it is. And during all this, Otto is watching, and he realizes he finally gets the last of his memories triggered. So now he knows that not only everything that was going on while he was Spider-Man, he remembers that Peter is Spider-Man too. So lots going on there too. So pretty good start so far. I don't know if he's ever going to become Spider-Man again or not, because that's what the Superior Spider-Man was. But we'll see. Good start there too. All right. Hey everybody, so that is the show for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, if anybody is interested in the new Josie book, just give me a shout. I do have some of these available. Otherwise, I will let you guys know what the FOC is. Oh, actually, I can let you know what FOC is right now. I will tell you that. Today's FOC for the week is, you got to have your orders in by tomorrow to guarantee that you get these. Let's see. FOC is for December 13th. It is the Boom, Ablaze, Dynamite, Oni, Titan, and Mad Cave books. December 20th is Image, DC, AWA, and Vault books. The 27th is Dark Horse, Timeless #1 from Marvel and Scout Comics. And then on January 3rd, you have your IDW and the rest of all the Marvel books. So again, you got that 1 week earlier for the Timeless books. So do get those into your FOC to make sure you're guaranteed to get a copy of the books that you want. Otherwise, we will see you guys later on. Peace out.